Hey everybody, it's Pete. Good morning. It is Wednesday morning, September 9th, 2020, and welcome to a new episode of today's Best Stock Picks. Well, we got another lower close yesterday, but it certainly didn't feel as vicious as the prior 2 days last week. So what we're looking at right now is the futures are bouncing a little bit. Most stocks are kind of what I call in that phantom zone where they're stuck between two key moving averages, where it's still a long, but not necessarily an A-plus long anymore. So I'm definitely looking to be buying today. There are a few short sale opportunities, but I'm not taking them. We actually had our group coaching call last night where Vince pointed out very smartly, I believe, where we are now where you're chasing price at this point. We're short selling right now, although interesting, and I'll post a video here. We just did a video this morning on short selling. It's interesting, but not the right trade today. It's kind of the opposite of what we talk about swing trades, where they're heading higher, higher. And now it's 5 days into the move, and it's still definitely a buy, but not necessarily a new swing trade 5 days later. Because of the viciousness of the selling and how far we came down, we've actually just recently come close to what might be called the 50% retracement level. We're also coming into the 50-period moving average. So there's a lot of reasons not to be short selling today, especially on today's open. So the futures are going to open higher today. It looks like it's going to be interesting whether or not we actually hold the bid in trading terminology. So we have a bunch of charts that we're going to take a look at. We have a bunch of trade setups, which is really the most important part. If you find these videos helpful, definitely click down and subscribe. You'll get updates. You'll get new trading ideas as well as new trading education every day. If you really want to take it to the next level and invest in yourself, definitely join me in the boot camp for the next days. Only $295, and it's basically a real-time 30-day seminar that we trade together. So let's head over to the charts and take a look at some of the setups. We're actually going to start out with the SPY, because the SPY actually is what I call stuck in that phantom zone, which is we have the 20, the 50, and the 200 period simple moving averages. And the SPY is kind of stuck in between those. That's where it's still a buy, because all of the moving averages are pointing in the right direction and they're in the right order, but it's now stuck in between the 20 and 50. So this is really where you need to massage the order a little bit and work your trade management. The first stock we want to talk about on the list today is Nikola. Now, none of the moving averages are in the right order to be looking to buy, so we're actually going to move that off of there. The story behind Nikola is this: the partnership with General Motors, and yesterday the stock skyrocketed on the news. So today's idea is, what do we need to see? What are we actually looking for to look to trade the stock and feel confident, to have conviction? I guess that's the same thing, to want to be buying the stock and expecting the stock to continue in the direction. So what the minimum criteria we're looking for today is well bid. We're looking for well bid price action, which means that the stock, which had buying yesterday in a good story, follows up where it trades higher highs, higher lows, closes above the open, and closes above the previous day's close as well. So we basically want to see a green candle that closes above this price. We want to see higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so it's very, very simple. So what I want to do first, though, is I want to walk through the actual trade. So over here, the stock just exploded, became really exciting, and then it's pretty much been a dud as far as buying it since then. So we actually had a beautiful, clean downtrend right here, and in this area here, we actually broke the downtrend. That's the first potential change of trend. It's not a change of trend yet. So we have to make sure we make that distinction, because this was the downtrend. That is actually what we call the window. So within that window where it changes, we have a potential change of trend if it gets above this price, and a continuation of the trend if it trades below there. So it's kind of stuck here with a very low probability of follow through. What really means is that there's no edge. You only want to place trades when there's an edge. So now there's an edge that's popped up. We've technically broken this downtrend because we broke this area, which was the highest high after it broke the downtrend. Now we need to see, does it stay above this price level? Does it stay above this breakout level of, let's say, 40, oh, that's easy to remember, 46.46. So how do you actually make this trade? Well, there's two scenarios here. The stock obviously just bounced from 36 and now it's trading at 52 and change pre-market. That's a big move. It just bounced $16. We also know that the stock came from around 76. So regardless of where you get your entry, we're looking at over $25 in profit potential, minimum up to the most recent price action. So what we're looking to do now is build the position above 46. Now you have a choice here. If it goes well bid, you can start to build your swing trade position above yesterday's close, fully knowing that 46 is the real level for a stop loss. It needs to stay above that level. So what I would personally be doing is I'd be going in on 1/3 of my position, maybe even 20 to 25% of my position. Because of how much the stock bounced, we want to make sure that the bids step back in and hold it. But if they don't and we get back below that level, your loss is only a smaller loss. If we get feedback from the market and it starts to bounce, meaning we get a higher high, a higher low, and a higher close, at least for one more day, maybe even two, then we can start to add more shares looking for that swing trade up to 76. So a lot to swallow there, but really pretty easily laid out. I don't know why I can't speak this morning. So some other trades, we do have some stocks that have really clean relative strength. Peloton was a force to be reckoned with yesterday. It closed a little lower off of the highs as the market traded lower, but look at what the stock traded intraday. So the daily candles are not really indicative of how strong the stock was yesterday. We're looking for it to approach all-time highs again today. Congratulations if you're in Workhorse with us from last week. It did not shake us out of the trade. If it did, you simply got back into the position, and now you're actually getting paid for that as well. So we're looking for follow-through in Workhorse again, and if you're not long already, you can see it's trading over 22. It needs to stay above 22 to initiate that swing trade. Ironically, we just talked about short selling this morning. Work came out with earnings and got smacked, and it's actually trading at 24, which is not even on this chart. It's actually down in this area here. So this would actually be a situation based on the earnings coming out, the guidance being bad, and in line with the rest of this earnings season, is we're looking for the stock to trade lower today. So you need to go to that video that we pointed out before and look for the minimum criteria to look to be selling short this stock with room to go to the downside. I think 22 would be the minimum on a short sale. Ironically, on the opposite side, LUV, the airline, Southwest Airlines, actually had a new 20-day breakout yesterday and closed strong. So if we extrapolate what we're looking at here as far as price action we need to get through, we're pretty darn close. We're pretty darn close, right? So if we get above the 41, 42 level, there's some room to go. Look, these get out of the house stocks are seeing buying, and these stay at home stocks are seeing selling, and the tide has turned. OSTK has been taken to the woodshed over the last 2 weeks, and we're getting a little bit of short covering today, which, by the way, we discussed short covering rally in that education video this morning. So big difference. Congratulations again. If you're in show with us, we started talking about it last week. We were looking for this pause. It paused nicely, and the trade is still working out. So let's be managing those swing trades as well. CZR, which we called out in yesterday's video, also showed relative strength compared to the market. By relative strength, I mean closed above the open, basically closed positive a little bit, but more importantly, it closed above the open and near the high as the market closed on the lows. And you can see why we like this trade. It's got a ton of room to go to the upside for a new swing trade. PENN continues to trade at or near all-time highs as well. The problem with PENN right now is it's stuck in this window. It's basically trading between 52 and 56 in that area. I personally am waiting for it to get beyond 56. I don't want to get involved in this choppiness, but set the alert. Run also trading strong yesterday. And again, we mentioned it in last night's group coaching call, but you can see clearly here some of these stocks are exhibiting relative strength on a one-day basis, which we call them one-hit wonders. But that's not necessarily the case here in Run. You can see that it's actually had a nice, solid order flow move to the upside. So this is not a one-day wonder. This is actually a nice recovery. So if you're not long, be looking for swing trades in that direction as well. Toll Brothers found some buying yesterday as well, not quite reversing the downtrend that we've seen after it approached those highs, but we're still looking to be long as well today. So the question comes in, what about all of these big popular stocks that most active day traders trade? Look, they're not short sales unless you're looking for short sale, the most immediate moment, as we discussed, again, in that education video we just did. They're still a long. If the market doesn't make sense, you're still looking for a long. So if it doesn't make sense, you just take a step back because the circumstances, the story has not changed here. The market just released the pressure on the selling. It doesn't mean that we became a bearish environment. So you got to keep the big picture in mind. And constantly be thinking about the high probability trades. If the market trades lower, you can actively short sell it, but just keep in mind, it's not the best trade on the board with 6 months of buying here. So basically from March to now, and stocks meeting all-time highs, but you need that criteria. Again, watch that video. I went over the criteria of the minimum criteria to look for a short sale, and the more pieces you put to the puzzle, the more conviction you would have in a short sale. And right now we have kind of the minimum criteria. So it would be an active trade, a quick trade, a momentum trade out, but still the better trade is looking for long. So it's interesting that we're opening higher today. What's going to be really interesting is whether or not we hold the bid after the open and buying comes back in. So we got a lot to watch today. Apple is interesting. Obviously, I don't think anybody expected to be staring at a 110 price in Apple over the last couple of days, but my gosh, if you like the company long term, that's a pretty good price to be looking at to start building a longer term position. And Tesla, of course, is the one that has befuddled a lot of Tesla bulls who are just looking to one side of the market. And again, you need to know what a trade needs to look like. And the biggest thing is if it was a trade, you had plenty of chances to book profits. If it's an investment, you shouldn't be watching the day to day because you're looking to hold it for the long term. So we have a lot to look at today. Really the big kahuna today is when we open that print, do we stay there? Do we stay above the open with the gap higher, or is this short covering that might lead to new selling? So today you got to earn your stripes today. Today you got to get in there and really have reference points. And this is what tape reading is about. This is what we specialize in the boot camp. So you got to get in there and know your reference points. We laid them out last night in our group coaching call where we talked about what we look for in our watch list and how to have your list going into the day, and then how to adapt, adjust, and manage trades properly after the market opens. If you're swing trading after the week opens, and what do you need to see? And that's what separates somebody who's struggling as a chart reader to somebody who is making money as a trader. So hopefully we can help you get to the other side. Good luck today. Keep an eye on that NKLA trade as a swing trade. It's going to be interesting to see. Have your lines in the sand today to know whether or not you should be an aggressive buyer, or if the sellers came back in. You need to know what you need to see. That's what's more important than what happens. If you know what you're looking for, it's easy to spot, and it's easy to know if it's not there. Have a great day, everybody.